Evil Saitama could be real because the One Punch Man multiverse is confirmed. In the most recent chapter, we saw the new supervillain Empty Void go outside of reality to the Void, where he can see all these different parallel worlds that branch off with infinite possibilities, meaning that there is a multiverse in One Punch Man, and this explains a lot about the story. This is a huge key to the puzzle that we have been missing, and a lot of fans actually have been theorizing about the One Punch Man multiverse for quite a while now, and it turns out that it's true. So let's dive deep. First of all, by using God's power, essentially Empty Void is able to go to the fourth dimension, where he's able to see all of the different parallel realities and worlds within, I guess, a certain timeline. In any case, he says that he can fold entire dimensions like bubbles, and we didn't see him do that. Instead, he actually attacks from the outside. Maybe he can't fold entire dimensions, but I assume that God could. And I don't know why God has not done that to Saitama's realm if he is a threat. I believe that Saitama is a singularity, and there may be replicas of literally every single character in the series in these other parallel dimensions except for Saitama. I think that in this reality of the infinite number of realities, Saitama is a one of one, and that's going to play a very large role in how we get to the end of the series and what it all means. We were somewhat teased by this when Saitama traveled back through time, and he was actually able to pick the exact moment in time, almost like the Speed Force, in which he wanted to come out and he one-shot Garo. But the interesting thing is, this chapter 164 got redrawn, and in this chapter, before it got redrawn, we were introduced to Blast's team of galactic space heroes, one being Boros and one being Beast King. And what that means to me is both of those characters were destroyed by Saitama in the story, but they must be from other universes, parallel universes that don't have Saitama in them, which would account for why they are not destroyed. And I think this is incredibly important because obviously if this god, being the final boss in the series, is multi-dimensional and he can literally just fold universes, it's important that Saitama is this singularity that is unaffected by him. And another point is that when Saitama traveled back through time, there was another version of himself, but then they combined, they merged into one. And that again kind of reinforces the idea that Saitama is a singularity in the multiverse and there can only ever be one of him. Maybe there isn't Saitamas in other universes. There's obviously Saitama in different timelines of this universe, the present one that we all know and love. So if Saitama travels through time, there still cannot be two of him. They merged. And I don't know if that would happen to anybody else in the series. Would they merge as well? Or was that Saitama specific because he is the singularity? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That could be a clue. Now, I'm not sure about this one, but I think it does open up a lot of opportunity for Murata and One to write the story in the future, now that they're going down the multiverse path. And that is the fact that all of these redraws that they have done for One Punch Man, how they've changed the fights, they could actually be parallel worlds. So for example, there could be a parallel world where Saitama defeated Garo before he ever took God's power. And I think that Blast obviously has the ability to travel through the multiverse. He has the same power that Empty Void has, and he told us that he has a piece of God's power. He actually went rogue. At some point, we haven't been explained it yet, Blast either was becoming a God avatar or he somehow stole God's power and got away, and that allows him to go outside into the fourth dimension, teleport around, and basically view everything that's happening on the world from wherever the heck he is. And that would allow him to recruit all of these super powerful fighters, and it would also explain why he's not around too much. He goes to these black holes, traveling to different universes and parallel worlds where there is strong fighters that Saitama has not destroyed in those worlds. Now, interestingly, Blast is picking up on Saitama's power, and I think God is as well, but it doesn't really seem like neither of them truly know Saitama's power yet, because I feel like if God knew how strong Saitama truly was, it would be his sole motive right now to go after Saitama. But he doesn't really seem to be too concerned with Saitama yet, even though Saitama took out God Garo, and God should know about that and be like, yo, this guy could actually be a threat to me. I need to send more villains, more God avatars at his direction. It doesn't really seem like Empty Void is going to capture and fight Saitama. He's more concerned about turning Flashy Flash and Sonic into God avatars, which means to me that God's biggest concern is just simply creating a bunch more God avatars. He doesn't care about Saitama yet, but he certainly will as we progress further and further through this series, because this end fight is going to be so apocalyptic and anime heaven. My God, I can't wait for this, dude. The Galactic War on God. And you know why else this gets me so excited? Because if this is the final arc of the series, like, obviously I don't want One Punch Man to end, but if we're going into multiverse level like storytelling, then basically this final arc, One and Murata could drag it on as long as they possibly want. I mean, if you start sending Saitama to other universes, like, this series could go on forever. And that's really exciting to me because I want this final arc with the War on God arc to satisfy us One Punch Man fans to the core. And it really seems like One and Murata are building this hype up so much to get us there. It's so incredibly exciting. And I think this extra layer of multiverse, it just adds so much more dimension to the story. It starts to open up some more theories and questions and answers to some of our questions. For example, if these God beings and heroes with God powers are able to operate outside the realm of reality, they're able to break the laws of physics, guess who else does that on seemingly a regular basis? Our homeboy Bald Cape. Saitama is able to break the laws of reality. So that tells me two things. One, obviously he has some level of God power in him, but perhaps I don't think it's this monster God. I could be wrong there, but I feel like there must be some other God that gave Saitama his power. But also, it would explain why God hasn't been able to just simply crush Saitama or his universe from the outside. Because Saitama is invincible, I think, like, if you crushed his dimension, like his whole universe, like, he would probably just pop out into the fourth dimension or something like that. Like, you can't get rid of him. And perhaps he is the anchor keeping this dimension from being crushed. Because he operates outside the realms of physics and reality, it could actually be shaping his universe, or in a sense protecting it. Almost is like the story of the Matrix. Like, Saitama is Neo, God is the machines, and Blast is like Agent Smith. He took the machine's power and went rogue, and Saitama is the anomaly that is messing everything up. But I think it's pretty safe to say that there is only one Saitama in the universe, and even in multiple timelines, you can't have two Saitamas in that timeline. They'll end up merging because there can only really ever be one. So what that means to me is that we probably will never get evil Saitama. Unfortunately, I mean, unless God can just create an evil Saitama out of thin air and have them battle at the end. But now that we know the multiverse exists in One Punch Man, it makes it way less likely that there will ever be an evil Saitama. But there could be an evil Blast, an evil Genos. Pretty much any character in this series that you want to be good or bad could switch sides in the multiverse, as obviously we see that with Blast's team and Boros being on the team. So any characters in this series that have died could literally just come back. Basically, they're pulling a Marvel Avengers, but I don't know if One and Murata are gonna do that. I mean, they're really taking kind of the Avengers multiverse approach here, but they haven't really made any like crazy decisions yet, which hurt the story. This is not bad by any means. It could turn out bad. This basically allows them to write the story in any way they want, bring characters back to life, etc., etc. So it gives them more breathing room to write, and there's way more opportunity to write, but it could complicate things, create plot holes, and ultimately damage the story. So we're gonna have to see where they take us now that One Punch Man has multiverse and Saitama is the singularity. This opens up a lot of questions and theories. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you guys soon for some more One Punch Man.